series of video lecture, we will understand the experiments in the DBMS lab. So our first experiment is a case study. Here we identify the user needs and build an ER model based on the needs of the users or the requirements. DBMS is an application-oriented subject. Analysis of the requirements defines the business rule. Means the business rules are based on the user needs. So after understanding the user need, the database designer builds a model. There are various phases of the database design. After the user requirement, the conceptual design is built. The conceptual design contains the ER model. The ER diagram is mapped into the logical relational data model. Physical design is the final step where the data is actually stored in the database. The conceptual design has all the answers regarding what are the entities and the relationships in the enterprise, which of the information should be stored in the database, what are the various integrity constraints or the business rules should be held in the database. The ER model is invented by the Peter Chen. So let us understand the entity relationship model. It is the pictorial representation of the entire system. It is developed by Peter Chen. So ER modeling is based on the concept that organizations consist of the people, facilities, and the objects. These components of the enterprise interact with each other to achieve the certain goals of the enterprise. The ER model is based on the three basic concepts: the entity, the relationship sets, and the attributes. The entity. An entity represents a thing or an object of the real world which has the distinguishable characteristics. For example, person, employee, and the customer. The entity set is a collection of the similar type of entities like the employee, faculty, and the customer. The entity set is represented in the ER diagram by the rectangle. Now, attributes. Attributes are the properties of the entities which makes that entity distinguishable from each other. It is represented by the oval in the ER diagram. It is directly connected to the entity. Now, there are various types of the attributes. The first type of attributes are simple and the composite attributes. So let us understand what do you mean by the simple attributes. Simple attributes cannot be further subdivided as given in the example. The employee ID is a simple attribute. Now the composite attribute can be further subdivided. For example, here name is subdivided into first name, middle name and last name. The representation of the composite attribute you can see in the slide. The next type of attributes are the single value and the multi-value attributes. The attributes can have only single value for each instance of the entity set is called as a single value attribute. The multi-value attribute means the attribute may have the multiple values for the same instance of the entity like in the given example, for a single instance of the employee may have the multiple values of the phone number. So the phone number is a multi-value attribute here. Now the next type of attributes are the stored and the derived attribute. Derived attributes can be derived with the help of the stored attributes. Here the age is derived attribute and it can be derived from the stored attribute date of birth, that is DOB. Now the key attribute. Key attributes are the special type of attributes are called as a key attributes. Key is an attribute or the collection of the attribute that uniquely identifies the entity among the entity set. In the ER diagram, the key attribute is underlined. Here, among all the student entity set, to identify the particular student, roll number is used as a key attribute. The next basic concept which is used in the ER model is a relationship. Relationship is an association between the two or more entities. A relationship set is a set of similar or the same type of relationships. It is represented by a rhombus in the ER diagram. Relationship may have the attributes. We have considered a simple example as teacher teaches to a student for some specific hours. Now there are various types of the relationships and the degree of the relation. So let us understand this. Number of entity participate in the relation is called as a degree of that relations. We have three different types of the relationship. The first type of relationship is a unary relationship. When an entity is associated with the same entity, then such relationship is called as a unary relationship. Like some employees are working as a supervisor or some employees are working as a supervisee. Or we can say that we can say some employees are working as a manager for the employees. Here the degree is 1. In the ER diagram, we can write the role whenever we used to write the unary relation, just like in the given example. Here the supervisee and the supervisor are the role assigned to the each employee. The next is a binary relationship. When the two different entities are associated with each other, then such relationship is a binary relationship with a degree of 2. The ternary relationship. Ternary relationship, when the three entities are associated with each other, then such relationship is called as a ternary relationship with a degree of 3. Now let's understand the constraints. Constraints are the desirable limitations provided by the DBMS system. Some constraints are provided on the relationship, some constraints are provided as a keys, and some constraints are provided with a participation constraints. Now let us understand the constraints which are applicable on the relationships. It means the number of the constraints which are applicable on the relationships are also called as a mapping cardinality. It means number of entities from the one entity set is associated with number of entities of the another entity set. We have generally it is represented in the binary relationships mostly. We have one to one to many to one, and many to many cardinalities. So let's understand one by one. So one to one cardinality. Here a teacher is teaching to a student in ER model is denoted by writing 1 on the link on the relations. So this is the one-to-one cardinality where every entity of one entity set is related to at most one entity of another entity set. So it is called as a one-to-one mapping. Here one teacher is teaching to the student. That is the one-to-one cardinality mapping. In the ER diagram, the cardinality mapping, one-to-one cardinality mapping is represented with writing 1 over the links of the relationship, or we can also write it with the help of the arrows, and above the arrow we have to write 1. Now many to one and one to many cardinality. Here for example, a teacher is teaching to many students is a many to one or one to many cardinality. In the ER diagram, the many to one cardinality or one to many cardinality is defined with the help of the symbol 1 and n is written over the links of the relationships. Now, the last cardinality is many to many cardinality, where the many teachers are teaching to the many students. In the ER model, the many to many cardinality is represented with the symbol M and N. That means it is the many to many cardinality is present between the teacher and the students. So let us understand this with the help of one example. Employees have an identifier and a name and they work for the department. A department has a unique ID and in one department many employees can work. So this simple business rule can be deployed with the help of the ER diagram. So here one entity is an employee and employee is associated with the department with the relationship work. And here many employees are working in the single department or in the one department. That's why here the cardinality is many to one from employee to department. Here we have added the attributes also, as the employee is having the unique identifier, the employee ID is the key for the employee entity. Here the name is a composite attribute. As we can see, the name is divided into first name, middle name and last name. As well, for the department ID is the key for the department. Now the key constraint. The key constraint is a set of one or more attributes that can taken collectively to identify the particular tuple or particular record from the entity is called as a key attribute. Here we can see the example. Employee are having the attributes employee ID, employee name, DOB, address and the Aadhaar number. So database designer randomly choose one of the candidate key as a primary key. So here either the employee ID or the Aadhaar number will be the candidate key of the given relation. So the candidate key is the minimal super key is considered as a candidate key. We will get back to the candidate key and the super key one more time when we will see the SQL constraints. So here the employee ID is a primary key of the given relation. Now the participation constraint. When each entity in the entity set is a participated in the relationship, then the participation of that entity is total in the given relationship. So here all the students are enrolled for the courses. Total, that's why the participation of the student entity is the total participation here. The total participation represented by the double lines in the link of the relationship. The partial participation, the entity in the entity set may or may not participate in the relationship, then such type of association or participation is called as a partial participation. Now the weak entity. The weak entity means the entity set may not have the sufficient attributes to form a primary key, then such entity is called as a weak entity. To understand the weak entity properly, let us understand this weak entity with the help of one example or the tables. So let us understand the weak entity with the help of one example. So let us see two tables. One is an employee table and second is a dependent table. In my employee table, I have employee ID, employee name, gender, address and salary. And in my dependent table, I have dependent name, gender, relationship, date of birth and the address of the dependent. Now let us assume the employee Shruti Verma left the job. Now her correspondence record from the dependent table also be deleted from the dependent table. But here we cannot identify the correspondence record of the Shruti Verma from the dependent table, as the dependent table doesn't have the primary key of the table. Here we can identify the records of the Shruti Verma with the help of the employee ID of the employee table. So here we need the primary key of the identifying entity so that we can identify the records, the particular records in the dependent table. The key of the weak entity is called as a discriminator or the partial key, which is denoted as a dotted line in the ER model. So the primary key of the weak entity is a partial key plus the key of the identifying entity. Here we can say that the employee ID is the identifying entity for the dependent table. Some sample relations examples. So we can see some of the business rules which are present here. Customer orders item. Here the customer will be one entity and the item will be one entity. Order will be the relationship between the customer and the item. Similarly, customer pays the bill. So the customer is a one entity, bill is one other entity and the pays will be the relationship between the two entities. Student enroll for the courses. Here student is an entity, courses is an entity and enrollment is a relationship between the student and the courses. Customer book a ticket. So the customer is an entity and the ticket is also another entity and book is the relationship between these two entities. Customer deposited money in the bank. This is the one business rule for the bank system. So here customer is an entity and account is another entity and the deposit is the relationship between the customer and the account. So let us revise the notations which we have learned for the ER model. So the entity can be represented with the help of the rectangle. Attributes can be represented with the help of the oval. The weak entity set can be represented with the double rectangle. Multi-value attributes can be represented with a double oval. Rhombus is represented the relationship set. The dotted oval is represented the derived attribute. The identifying relationship of the weak entity set is defined with the double rhombus. The total participation is defined with the help of the two links of the relationship and the entity. The primary key is defined with the help of the underlined attribute. The discriminator or the partial key of the weak entity is defined with the help of the dotted underline of the attribute.